Broncos country, you're in here with the Pro Football Pod, hanging out. Hulk, Coach, Austin, we've got a season preview for you. Comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Do it for your family. We'll give you a 500, or not 500 jerseys. At 500 subs, we're giving away one free jersey. Somebody's going to clip that and use it as legally binding.
Oh,
shit.
They said 500. We're literally not going to make any money for the first 10 years of this podcast. All right, so Broncos country. Big.
I do not choose to be a common man. It is my right to be uncommon if I can. Uncommon. That is the slogan of the Broncos, baby. No more, less ride.
Okay, I like it.
It's really not powerful or like out. It's like, what are we even talking about? That's
so
still football.
If I
That's
told
still
you
a football
guys
team?
that the
sounds
Broncos,
like way too deep for a
Yeah.
team.
it is way too
What
deep.
is going on?
Broncos country less ride was much better. If I told you guys that the Broncos won 8 games last year, would you believe me?
No, but
That's actually
I do
shocking.
watch football.
They did.
The
and I
second half
saw
of their
that
season,
they were like 1-point games.
the second half of their season, like, yeah, they were squeaking wins out, and their schedule helped them out a lot with that. But that is shocking. Like, they barely missed the playoffs.
They had
That
70
defense,
points
man.
scored against them in like week 4 or 5, and then they still won 8 games.
You just said the 70-point game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane, an anomaly. Because I was so
It's the
high on
second
this
most
defense.
points scored in league history.
And they
I
had
know,
a
that
chance
shit
for the
was
record
wild.
and didn't take it.
But why it was even more wild was how great this defense was, and they showed you every other week beside that one how good they really were. They shut teams down and kept their team in the game.
I think that was the best thing that could have possibly happened to that football team was having 70 put up on them by the most like. I mean, it was all run game
for anybody.
It was all
That's
run
not
game
good
too.
for anybody. That was
Because
so
like
disrespectful.
the big thing is that their cornerback
It was
is
like
super
40,
good.
50-yard runs like that you can't game plan for. You're like the Dolphins as a team, like, yeah, that's awesome, but they don't even expect that. That screws up your whole game plan's out the window because it's like, well, we're up 4 touchdowns at halftime. I was not prepared for this.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do here?
Let's just run the
I'm
same
sure-
plays we ran last half, and then they get 3 more touchdowns. It's like, oh my god! All
I'm
right.
sure plenty
Yeah.
of
Oh, okay,
the
we're
Broncos
really good at
fans
this.
went to bed pretty upset.
Can't
those
wait to
nights. So
abandon
let's
the run
move
in the second half of the season.
So
past those
now
nightmares.
they did do a lot of really good things. They added Zach Wilson,
Bro, they did
Crickets.
amazing things.
crickets. Okay,
That's a
Reynolds,
solid backup quarterback.
he wasn't last year.
Well, he needs time to develop. He's still really young.
He's had 3 or 4 years. So I actually. Thank you. I actually was happy
Sorry.
that they
on,
traded
Redman.
Jerry Jeudy to the Browns. They were able to actually get something. Not a lot, but they were able to get something for Jerry Jeudy.
What they get for him?
And they got Josh Reynolds. I think it was like a 5th or a 6th round pick.
Yeah, I think it was like a 4th, 5th round
A
pick.
little bit to be desired.
But
there.
Josh Reynolds was doing very well last year. He's not a starter. He's not the main piece, but he is very solid. And then drafting Bo Nix and Troy Franklin and getting 2 dudes that already have chemistry together that are going to be able to grow together. Audric Estime as well.
Like, think about it here. Sean Payton did not draft Javonte Williams.
No.
Like, so as much as we personally, as the show, like Javonte and his game and how we wanted him on the Dolphins when draft time was here, I don't think Sean Payton feels that way. Like, Jaleel McLaughlin got a lot of work, even when Javonte Williams came back.
Yep.
And him hand-picking his guy in Audric Estime, like, who was just a hard between-the-tackles runner out of Notre Dame. It doesn't matter to me that he was a 5th-round pick because Sean Payton doesn't care about that. Most
Alvin
of the
Kamara
running
was
backs
a 6th round pick.
most of the running backs he's used in the past have been late-round picks. Pierre Thomas was not a early round pick, and he was a fantasy darling when Sean Payton was his coach.
Yeah. I'm really excited about this team. Their win total being 5.5 is a little bit scary. I can't believe that they're projected to win so few games, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Whoa, I was about to say, let's dive right into that then. That's
get
alarming.
That ADP, Bo Nix, he's right now your number 33 overall quarterback.
And
which means there's a
undrafted.
backup quarterback in the league being drafted ahead of him in fantasy right now.
Yes.
basically undrafted.
That's probably
like,
Justin
you can
Fields.
get him at the end. Yeah, honestly, probably is. Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Yeah, that's a great call. Good job. I'm proud of you for that. Hey, let's hit him. There we go. There we go.
Little golf
Now,
clap.
Javonte Williams, number 25 running back, number 83 overall. Cortland Sutton, number 47 wide receiver, 109 overall. Franklin, number 69 wide receiver, and Marvin Mims Jr., number 73 wide receiver. So kind of like if you go back and watch our Chargers episode, it's kind of what this wide receiver room looks like. A lot of guys going deep in the drafts, but I will say this. Somebody has to give you value. Cortland Sutton being a guy you can get in the 9th or 10th round, right around where Ladd McConkey is going.
Look at what he did last year.
I will absolutely take Cortland Sutton.
He was a target machine.
Bo Nix was the most accurate quarterback in NCAA last year. The dude had almost a 78% accuracy rating.
And last year, Cortland
that's
Sutton
insane.
Scored a touchdown a game for like the last 8 games of the season. Like the reason that they were able to win all those games late and they were able to stay in these games was because they were throwing 10 targets to Cortland Sutton. Like we've said so many times before, target share. That's what matters the most. If he's going to get the most targets and get all the touchdown targets, he's going to have value. And the fact that every one of these guys is going after every receiver that the Chiefs have is because of Patrick Mahomes. Bo Nix, everyone's expecting him to not be able to throw the ball and he's going to look like Danny Dimes out there. I don't see that. I think that
I love
that's
you
people who haven't watched film.
To put a bow on what you just said there, with these guys, all of them going after the Chiefs wide receivers. And you mentioned the Patrick Mahomes effect, but you mentioned the key word, target share.
Yep.
Because the Chiefs' target share is going to Travis Kelce.
Yep.
And then everyone else will get the crumbs. Whereas here, somebody has to get it. And a rookie quarterback, more than likely, it's going to be spread across Cortland Sutton, the savvy veteran who's just shown time and time again he can get it done for you. Marvin Mims Jr. is still young, but Bo Nix has his guy from college, his number 1 wide receiver, on this roster with him now as well. And I don't think that can be understated.
Like, off limits, boys. They're off limits. That duo is off limits. I want to just put it here first.
Austin's preparing for the late round stack right now.
That's my stack.
Right, 15, 16, let's
think
go.
About that.
College season.
Especially like in a dynasty startup. In a dynasty startup as a late round stack, that's amazing for you right there.
Yeah.
Like if you're 100%. Starting up a dynasty, that is absolutely 2 people I'm looking at stacking.
And if you've
been
listening,
got that grit.
If you've been listening to the podcast for any amount of time, you know how much we focus on rookie running backs and their tight ends. Dulcich is not even being drafted. He's the 34th tight end off the board. That's disgusting. There's a lot of rookies and there's a lot of tight ends that are going to be getting rookie quarterbacks throwing to them. But this is an offense that Jimmy Graham became a dude because of Sean Payton.
They brought in Adam Troutman as well. Let me pull up where he's going over Dulcich.
Oh, because Coach Payton was coaching him. Wasn't he?
From New Orleans.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if he was still there or not.
Like if just going by Fantasy Pros, average draft positions, I'm not even seeing Adam Troutman listed.
Yeah. People are sleeping on the Broncos a lot. They expect this offense to be very bad, and that is silly. What we were if you guys watched the Chargers episode earlier this week, we talked about how the Chargers might take a little bit of time to ramp up. They're not going to win their first 8 games by 30 points each game. That's not possible. They need time for the team to buy into everything. This is year 2 of Super Bowl winning coach Sean Payton taking over this team, and he got the biggest cancer that he despised from the moment that he entered out. He was able to get rid of. Now, they're still paying.
They say there ain't a cure for cancer.
There is. His name's Bo Nix.
There we go.
So I'm very excited about the Broncos. I think that especially like Justin was saying, in a dynasty startup or even a dynasty league, being able to get some of these players that are super undervalued, Sean Payton has not had a bad offense. Like, yeah, Drew Brees, but Drew Brees was nothing before he showed up in New Orleans. Nobody thought Drew Brees was going to be the shit.
Where these guys are going, even like you said, in a rookie draft for a existing dynasty, more than likely where they're getting drafted at is by a team who made the playoffs in their dynasty. And so they're just stacking the roster for the future. So absolutely, if you're able to snag Troy Franklin with Bo Nix, I do that. Now, I say that with one asterisk of I do that with almost pure confidence I can get both of them.
Yeah.
I don't want one of them by themselves. But if I can stack them.
And I would like that to be my second and third round pick, not my first and my second.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm not taking either of those guys in the first round.
And the first, I'm really hoping for like a Keon Coleman, Xavier Legette potentially at the end, but he's still a little bit early.
No, that's why I don't think you're going to have to look at taking one of them in the first or even the second. Bo Nix probably goes in the second just because he's a quarterback.
And if it's a super flex, he goes in the second. He might go early in the second.
First.
Yeah.
It's super flex. Yeah, he might go late first, but. On the defensive side, before we fully wrap a bow on this one here.
Enough with the bow.
Hey, we like bows out here. You're wearing bow below. We got bow below. We've got T-bow. We're putting bows on everything out here. I've just got bows on the brain. Bo Nix.
I'm about to have some bow too many noodles.
Honestly, that's too many bows. I'm very sorry for everybody.
Throwing bows, man. Just ridiculous.
So they drafted Chris Abrams-Draine out of Missouri. I like the cut of his jib. I like Jonah Ellis, the edge they took out of Utah in the third round. That's really all they did as far as the defensive side of the ball. They lost Josie Jewell, the linchpin of their defense outside of Patrick Surtain. They've also, Justin Simmons is just still kind of up in the air out there. Like, he's still a free agent. They brought in Brandon Jones. They brought in Cody Barton at linebacker. As far as their defense goes, it still leaves a lot to be desired. Like, Baron Browning came on as an edge rusher for him. Jonathan Cooper started to look a little solid for him last year, but man, looking at that over under of 5.5 wins, I think I lean under. Like, looking at their schedule and when this team might start pulling it together, I think it's going to be a little too late. They go to New Orleans, like, for Thursday night football. That's going to be awesome. Steelers. Well, Sean Payton returning to New Orleans for Thursday night football. That's going to be dope.
But also playing against Russell Wilson.
And then, they do go into Pittsburgh to play Russell Wilson as well.
Their defense, if you are looking at PFF stats, was really, really, really heavily attributed with how bad their grades are because of Week 3 against the Dolphins. Like, their actual overall defense, their run defense, their tackling, their coverage. Like, the only thing that they did even some subpar was pass rush. They did have some very solid weeks, though, like against the Jets, against the Packers, against Cleveland last year, where their defense was able to step up. Against Houston, they legitimately could have won that game and were very close to winning that game, and defensively, they did everything they needed to be. Their offense just didn't step it up. Like, they held Houston to 22 points, and Houston was, honestly, at that point in the season, by week 13, they were starting to kick it into overdrive. So I don't think that their defense is going to be as much of a liability as it was last year. I'm excited about what this team is capable of doing. I think they're 5.5 over-under. I'm going over. I think that they can sneak out 6 wins. Sean Payton's not just going to have a team not compete for 17 straight weeks. I think that they can absolutely win 6 games. Now, do they win any divisional games? I think that they could take one against the Raiders. I think that the Chargers are still a fresh team with a new coach, that they could potentially win one there. I think that they get swept by the Chiefs because the Chiefs roster is that good. But they only need 4 more wins outside of that to be able to hit 6. I think that's an easy bet.
Yeah, I would take the over there. I like them for the over.
For me, I think since he's been with the Broncos too, Sean Payton has really started to rub me the wrong way. Like, I just feel like he's super arrogant. Like, I don't know if y'all saw the clip come out after the draft when they did get Bo Nix, and he made it seem, or he just came out and said that he basically baited the Vikings into trading up one pick to take JJ McCarthy, and they got the better quarterback. Like, but my thought was, funny. You baited the Vikings into taking the better quarterback by most people's consensus. Like, what did you bait them on exactly? Like, what are we doing out here to where he's just starting to really give me the vibe of somebody who thinks he is the smartest man in the room at all times.
I mean, and he's shown himself
he's not wrong, though. He's really not wrong. Like, Bo Nix is a true Bo Nix was great quarterback.
Like I said, he was the most accurate quarterback in NCAA last year.
But it's not only accuracy. It's what he can do with his legs, too. He can extend plays.
It's also, like, you do have to have some arrogance there to be like, yeah, we had them trade up for the guy who we had rated below the guy we took. Like, fuck off. Like, that's really all I got to say to that. Like, fuck off.
Drew Brees was accuracy. The reason he was capable of winning football games wasn't because he was big or he could throw the ball really far or any of that. He was accurate with the football, and Sean Payton utilized that perfectly throughout his entire career to win a lot of football games. I think that with having the most accurate, like Austin's saying, he's also mobile. He's got the prototypical size. I think that what Justin Herbert is right now is the ceiling for Bo Nix's future. And that's a very scary thing for this division.
And he's also an older quarterback too, so he's already like developed. He's not NFL developed yet, but
he is him and Zach Wilson are the same age, and Zach Wilson has 3 years of pro experience under his belt. Like, that's insane.
And watch how much better Bo Nix does right away.
Started more NCAA football games at quarterback than any player has started in NCAA. Like, all the pedigree is there for him to be the most pro-ready guy coming into this season. And it's not a knock on Bo Nix. For me, it's more of a knock on the team in general. Like, I don't feel like this team really did enough at all this offseason to get better. Like, yeah, they have another year with Sean Payton's system and stuff like that. And like you pointed out, the defense was solid.
Javonte Williams is also fully healthy.
There's nothing that jumps out to me with this team to where I say, yeah, they're better than they were at this point last year.
So over under 5.5. What are you going? You going under?
I said under. I think under. Like, looking at their schedule here, you figure a team with a rookie quarterback lost Jerry Jeudy, lost some key pieces off of your defense here. You figure first 3 or 4 weeks, you're probably just trying to figure it out. You might get one win looking at the Steelers in week 2 at home. Then going down the list, I mean, you've got Raiders, Chargers, Saints, Panthers, I think is probably a solid win for them. Ravens, Chiefs, Falcons. Then you've got Raiders again, Browns with a late bye, deep late bye. And then Colts, Chargers, Bengals, Chiefs. Like, wouldn't be shocked to see them finish the season 0-4.
You mean 4 wins?
No, 4 losses.
The last 4.
Yeah, like, that's where for me, I can maybe find 6 wins if I want to, like, really look at it. But just off the top with barely any analysis, it's hard for me to, like, commit to, yeah, I'd put money on the over. I just lean under.
I hear that.
So, hey, if you heard that and you disagree or you do agree, if you're a Broncos fan, you're going to disagree, but that's fine. You can just do what I said to your coach and fuck off. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys for sticking around and watching this episode with us, especially if you stuck in this long. Tulsi Rose Tea is the sponsor. Subscribe, comment, hit the noti bell. Once we hit 500 subscribers, free jersey coming to somebody. Do it. Do it for your family. Peace out.